Hello and welcome to September 15th, 2017 Daily Draw. My random suggestion today was oddly specific. Female in reasonable sci-fi armor. Um, which, you don't see a lot of, usually, at least in the fan art I've come across. Especially if it's Doom guy, female Doom guy. They always have it's just the tits and crotch are covered, and that's it. Women in video games and all forms of media like that have always kind of gotten the short stick when it came to armor. Possibly my favorite example of this was, I think they changed this actually, in the MMORPG TERA, which is actually a really good game. I played TERA quite a bit. I have 2 level 60 characters in that game. Haven't touched that in forever though. But there's this one race of people who are basically, the best way to describe them is they're succubus. They're demon people. They have horns and bone things sticking out of them. They're a really cool design, honestly, but they're very sexualized, overly sexualized. And your starting gear is basically this onesie, especially the women. Let's talk about the women. Is this onesie, dress. It's like a short sundress kind of thing, you know. It's a kind of dress that a younger girl would wear, that you would see. It's just this one solid tube dress, and it's, for what it's worth, it's a cute dress. But the top tier final end game armor for this combat class, I think that's the Berserker. Oh god, it's been so long since I played that game. It is basically this metal string bikini, and it's one of those things that that's the default armor. Yet in that game you can skin different armor, so you find oh, this armor has the best defense or gives me this stat that I need. You can take that and make it look like any other armor piece, which is awesome in my opinion. So you can run around in an actual swimsuit and be getting the best armor stats, which I think is silly, but hey, it's a video game. But the best armor vanilla in that game was a metal bikini, and you see that in fantasy games. You see this in games all the time. The women always getting these absurdly skimpy armor sets, which is the one thing I'm kind of liked about Skyrim, was that if you were playing as a female Dovahkiin, you could, and you put on the armors, they weren't, I think there was only 1 or 2 armor sets that were different. The normal people clothes, when you put them on, you got a dress instead of slacks the men had. And there was another armor set or 2 that just changed its I think the elven armor, the design of the waist guard changed a little bit. And the Daedric armor, I think, is either Daedric or Dwarven. The chest piece was different. But women with practical armor is something you don't see a lot in fantasy, which is a shame, because again, this my original idea for this was I'm going to draw Samus Aran. Yeah. Yes, because Samus is the fucking example of how you can do it. Even in her armor, Samus is still one of the sexiest characters in the game, in gaming, just because of her presence and ability and her character, not including other M. Fuck other M. But just, she's in full body armor 99% of her games. And she's still Samus is still this super sexy character in full body armor. And it's not because the body armor is skimpy or form-fitting or whatever. It's because she's just that kind of character. She's a great character and people love her. And it's just yeah, we should have more characters in full plate, which is, I didn't draw a character in full plate. I think this would be more considered like a half plate. But yeah, Samus is like the example of that. That's not. But being a badass and being protected and getting your job done takes precedence over, yeah, look at my tits. Because for like the first, what? The first couple salvos of players who played the Metroid games didn't know Samus was a woman. And it's such, it's a non fucking thing. Yeah, Samus is a badass. And she's a woman. Cool. I've digressed somewhere. That's right, women in body armor. Like that's one thing that we always point out, because I play D&D, and I have a group of friends that play D&D, and someone's always a paladin. And we were talking about this paladin, and I was like, you've never described your paladin, and it was a female player, and you never described your paladin. She always plays females. I'm like, so what's your height? What was your weight? Like, what was your character looking like? So she described her paladin. The face and hair doesn't really matter, but when she got to the body, she said that this paladin. At the end of the game, we were like level 17, so this paladin in full enchanted plate was 5'4" and 120 pounds. And it was humorous for me thinking about this 5'4", 120-pound woman walking around in full plate, wielding a giant flaming holy Avenger broadsword, and just double-handing and like slashing things with it. And that idea I thought was really fucking hilarious. Because even if you are a woman walking around in that kind of plate mail, you would bulk fairly quickly and get muscle. But yeah, we don't, especially like, I guess I should probably talk about what I did. The drawing I did, I've rambled for like 15 or 7 minutes now. The drawing I did was actually kind of based off of the Colonial Marine design, like Alien. Cause God, what was that one girl's name with the flamethrower in Aliens? Rodriguez? Is that Rodriguez? I feel bad. I haven't seen that movie in forever. But she was really cool. I remember as a kid being like, "Wow, she's really cool," and I felt kind of sad when she died. But Ripley's always been really cool, and I've always liked the like Colonial Marine aesthetic. You know, the design, the weapons, the armor, like the oorah-ness of it. I always really liked that. It's a shame that all their games have been trash. Well, no, at first Alien vs. Predator game, the multiplayer only thing was pretty good, but I only played like 35, about an hour actually, of the Colonial Marines game that everyone hated. And I recognized it was bad, but it was at least playable. I don't know. So yeah, we don't see a lot of women in proper body armor in sci-fi or fantasy settings. So hopefully we will get to see some of that. I just realized now that I didn't draw any armor on the arms, which I should have done, but that's neither here nor there. The drawing is complete. Or at least as complete as it's going to be. Drawing guns, which is weird because I really like guns. Drawing guns has always been really hard for me because guns aren't straight, and I have difficulty with perfectly straight lines. Guns are perfectly straight. And I'm not great with guns, which is weird because I really like guns. Those characters I develop have something to do with guns. Yeah, I was trying out a new thing of doing a like dark background with a lighter shadow to try to like make it pop more, because a lot of my drawings don't really pop well. I use a lot of dark colors and they kind of muddle over each other and they don't really come out great sometimes. So I tried doing something slightly different here, which I think works. You know, it's. I like this drawing, honestly. Usually, a lot of times artists were like, "Oh, that drawing, I hate that drawing." Like the Rogue drawing, oh my god! Going back and looking at that yesterday, oh my god, that was a terrible drawing. But who knows? Maybe tomorrow. Actually, tomorrow's Saturday, so there won't be a daily draw on Saturday or Sunday, but there will be one again Monday. So maybe Monday, when I go back and look at this, I'll realize that it was trash and probably never talk about it again. But yeah, so that was the female in reasonable sci-fi armor. I do hope you enjoyed me rambling about shit I'm probably nowhere near qualified to talk about. But yeah, I don't know. I think there's something sexy about woman in full body armor, but that's me, and I think people's reaction to some of the characters in Rainbow Six Siege attest to that. Just badass women are sexy. So, well, on that note, I will leave you with this drawing that's probably been up for about a minute now. And I hope you have a lovely day. Goodbye.